Listen to me closely, because what I am about to say is not light. It is not casual, and it is not meant to pass over your ears and disappear. Something is shifting around you. Even if nothing looks different yet, there is a quiet rearranging taking place beneath the surface of your life. You have felt it in the pauses, in the restlessness you could not explain. In the strange sense that where you are no longer fits the person you are becoming. This is not confusion. This is not delay. This is movement. You are moving somewhere beautiful all of a sudden. And the suddenness is not chaos. It is the signature of God. There are moments when God moves slowly, patiently shaping a soul over years. And then there are moments when God moves swiftly, decisively, without warning, because the time has fully ripened. What feels sudden to you has been prepared for a long time in the unseen. God does not rush, and God does not forget. When movement comes quickly, it is not because God is late. It is because everything is finally ready. You are not being pushed out. You are being drawn forward. You are not losing ground. You are gaining vision. And even if you feel unsteady right now, understand this: the ground beneath you is not giving way. It is being replaced. You have been faithful in places that never applauded you. You have endured seasons that drained you quietly. You have stayed when leaving would have been easier. And you have trusted when clarity was absent. None of that was wasted. God is not careless with obedience, and God is not blind to endurance. Every unseen tear, every restrained reaction, every moment you chose integrity over escape has been counted. And now the weight you carried is lifting, not because it was light, but because it is no longer yours to carry. You are moving somewhere beautiful. But beauty does not always announce itself with comfort first. Sometimes it begins with disruption. Sometimes it starts with God touching things you thought were stable and revealing that they were only familiar. Familiarity is not the same as destiny. Comfort is not the same as calling. God will unsettle what you have learned to survive in, so that you can step into what you were designed to thrive in. If things are shifting faster than you expected, do not panic. Acceleration does not mean recklessness when God is the one leading. There are doors opening that you did not knock on. There are conversations emerging that you did not plan. There are opportunities aligning that you did not campaign for. This is how God moves. When a season changes, you did not manipulate this. You did not force this. You did not earn this through performance. This is grace in motion. This is divine timing unfolding. And even if your mind is still catching up, your spirit already knows. This is not random. You are leaving a place where you learned endurance, but you are entering a place where you will learn expansion. Endurance teaches you how to stand. Expansion teaches you how to build. Where you are going will require more of you. Not more struggle, but more vision. Not more proving, but more trust. God is not relocating you to drain you. God is relocating you to reveal you. The version of you that survived where you were cannot remain the same where you are going. That is why the transition feels intense. Growth always demands release. Let go of the idea that beauty must look gentle at first. Sometimes beauty arrives disguised as urgency. Sometimes it arrives through decisions you never thought you would make so quickly. But hear this clearly. When God moves suddenly, it is because delay would harm you more than movement. Staying would cost you more than stepping forward. God sees what is forming ahead and what is decaying behind. God does not pull you forward to confuse you. God pulls you forward to protect you. You have outgrown certain environments. Even if they once nurtured you, what once sustained you now restricts you. What once taught you now limits you. This is not failure, it is fulfillment. Growth always creates distance between who you were and where you began. Do not mourn what God is asking you to release as if it were a loss. It served its purpose. Honor it, bless it, and step forward. God never asks for release without providing replacement. You are not being moved into uncertainty. You are being moved into alignment. Alignment feels unfamiliar at first because it demands honesty. You cannot carry old habits into new assignments. You cannot bring yesterday's fears into tomorrow's responsibility. God is refining your discernment, sharpening your awareness, and stretching your capacity, not to overwhelm you, but to prepare you. Where you are going will require clarity, not confusion. Courage, not hesitation. Stillness, not striving. There is a beauty waiting for you that is not cosmetic, it is structural. A beauty that comes from order, peace, and purpose. A beauty that rests in knowing you are where God intended you to be. This is not about scenery, it's about alignment of soul. You could be anywhere physically and still be misplaced spiritually. But when God moves you, the beauty follows, because peace follows obedience. You will recognize it not by excitement alone, but by the deep settling of your spirit. Do not underestimate how quickly God can change your surroundings when your inner posture is ready. One decision, one moment of surrender, one act of trust, and suddenly everything rearranges. This is not instability. This is divine orchestration. God is not dismantling your life. God is repositioning it. And even if you feel like you are walking without a full map, understand this. God never reveals the entire journey at once. Because trust is built step by step, not all at once. You are moving somewhere beautiful, and beauty requires room. That is why certain attachments are loosening. That is why certain conversations feel finished. That is why certain ambitions no longer excite you the way they once did. God is clearing space, not because you lack vision, but because your vision is expanding. What used to satisfy you cannot contain what is coming. Do not cling to what God is gently removing. Resistance will only create pain where surrender would create peace. There is nothing accidental about the timing of this shift. It is not too early and it is not too late. It is precise. God does not move according to your anxiety or your impatience. God moves according to purpose. And when purpose calls, comfort must yield. You are not being rushed, you are being summoned. This is not pressure, it is invitation. An invitation to step into a place where your gifts will breathe, your faith will deepen, and your life will bear fruit beyond survival. You may feel exposed right now, as if familiar coverings have been removed. That vulnerability is not weakness, it is readiness. God does not hide what God intends to use. Where you are going, authenticity will matter more than appearance. Integrity will matter more than approval. Obedience will matter more than applause. God is teaching you to stand without leaning on what once supported you. Because where you are going, God alone will be your foundation. Do not come. Use the speed of the change with lack of preparation. You have been prepared in silence. You have been trained through patience. You have been strengthened through endurance. God has already built what is necessary within you. The external move is only catching up to the internal work. You are not behind. You are not unqualified. You are not stepping into something beyond you. You are stepping into something that has been waiting for you. There will be moments when you look back and wonder how you arrived here so quickly. You will remember the days when movement felt impossible, when doors felt sealed, when prayers felt unanswered. And you will realize that those delays were not denials, they were designed. God was aligning people, circumstances, and timing in ways you could not see. When the moment came, it came all at once. Not to overwhelm you, but to reveal the fullness of God's faithfulness. You are not alone in this transition. God does not send you ahead without going before you. Every step you take has already been measured by divine wisdom. Every challenge you will face has already been accounted for. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into provision that has not yet been revealed. Trust is not believing that nothing will go wrong. Trust is believing that God will remain sovereign no matter what unfolds. As you move, Resist the urge to explain yourself to everyone. Some people will not understand the suddenness. Some will question the timing. Some will interpret your movement as instability rather than obedience. You do not owe clarity to those who are not called to walk with you. God does not require consensus to move you. God requires surrender. Walk quietly. Move faithfully. Let the food speak later. Where you are going will challenge your perception of what is possible. You will be asked to think beyond limitation, beyond fear, beyond the boundaries you once accepted as permanent. God is expanding your capacity to receive. Not just materially, but spiritually. More responsibility, more influence, more depth. Beauty is not shallow. Beauty has weight, and God is strengthening you to carry what is coming without losing yourself in it. This move will refine your priorities. You will discover what truly matters and what only demanded your attention without feeding your soul. Distractions will fall away. Clarity will sharpen, and peace, real peace, will become your anchor. Not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of God's nearness. That is the beauty you are moving toward. A life aligned, ordered, and grounded in divine purpose. Do not rush the adjustment. Sudden movement still requires intentional grounding. Give yourself permission to learn, to observe, to listen. God is not testing you in this new place. God is teaching you. There is wisdom waiting for you here. Wisdom that could not be accessed where you were before. Be humble enough to receive it. Strong enough to apply it. Faithful enough to remain open. May discover that what you thought you wanted is not exactly what you receive. And that is not disappointment. It is refinement. God does not always give what you expect. God gives what aligns. And alignment produces peace that expectation never could. Trust the difference. Trust the wisdom behind the redirection. God's perspective is not limited by your experience. You are moving somewhere beautiful, and beauty has a way of healing wounds you did not know were still open in the right environment. Your strength will return naturally. Your joy will no longer feel forced. Your faith will feel lighter, deeper, more anchored. This is not because the past was meaningless, but because its purpose has been fulfilled. You are not abandoning your history. You are building upon it. As you step forward, carry gratitude, not fear. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Fear distorts vision. God has not brought you this far to abandon you in transition. God finishes what God begins. The same hand that held you in struggle will steady you in expansion. The same voice that guided you through uncertainty will clarify your steps ahead. There will be confirmation, not always dramatic, but consistent. peace that remains, doors that stay open, strength that renews. Pay attention to what brings life. Pay attention to what settles your spirit rather than agitates it. God often confirms direction through alignment rather than excitement. Let peace be your compass. You are not required to have everything fed out before you move. Obedience often precedes understanding. Clarity often comes in motion. God does not wait for perfection. God waits for willingness. Step with what you know and trust God with what you do not. Faith is not the absence of questions. It is the decision to move despite them. This is not a temporary shift. This is not a detour. This is a transition with purpose. You are stepping into a chapter that will redefine how you see yourself, how you understand calling, and how you experience God's presence. Do not shrink back. Do not minimize the significance of this moment. Sacred transitions deserve reverence. One day, you will speak of this season as the moment. Everything changed. Not because life became effortless, but because it became aligned. You will recognize the beauty not only in where you arrived, but in who you became along the way. God is not only moving your location, God is deepening your capacity to live fully, faithfully, and purposefully. Stand still for a moment and let this settle in you. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not mistaken. You are moving somewhere beautiful all of a sudden, not because you forced it, but because God ordained it. Trust the movement, honor the process, and step forward with confidence, not in yourself, but in the wisdom, power, and sovereignty of God who leads you. As you keep moving, you will notice something subtle yet powerful happening within you. Your inner resistance is softening. The fear that once shouted now speaks in a whisper. The doubt that once paralyzed you now pauses before it challenges you. This is not because circumstances suddenly became easy, but because your trust in God has grown deeper. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet confidence that says, I will move even when I do not see everything yet. God is cultivating that strength in you. Not the kind that boasts, but the kind that stands steady when the ground changes. There will be moments ahead when nostalgia tries to pull you backward, reminding you of what was familiar, what was predictable, what felt safe. Do not confuse familiarity with safety. Familiar places can still suffocate growth. God does not call you forward to deprive you, but to free you. The past may have shaped you, but it is not permitted to define you forever. Honor what was, but do not build an altar there. God lives in movement, and obedience keeps you aligned with that movement. You may also encounter resistance, not only from others, but from parts of yourself that grew comfortable in survival mode. Survival teaches caution. Calling teaches courage where you are going. Fear-based decisions will no longer sustain you. God is inviting you to operate from trust rather than defense. This shift will feel uncomfortable at first because it demands honesty with yourself. You can no longer hide behind excuses or delay behind indecision. God is sharpening your discernment so that you move with intention, not impulse. Pay attention to the new desires emerging within you. Not every desire is distraction. Some are direction. God often plants longing before providing clarity. The hunger you feel is not emptiness, it is preparation. You are being ready to receive something that once would have overwhelmed you. God does not pour into vessels that are not prepared to hold what is given. The stretching you feel is evidence that capacity is increasing. As you step further into this new place, you will begin to recognize the difference between striving and alignment. Striving exhausts a soul. Alignment energizes it. When you are where God has positioned you, effort still exists, but it is purposeful rather than draining. You will work, but you will not feel consumed. You will labor, but you will not feel lost. This balance is not accidental. It is the fruit of walking in divine order. Do not expect immediate perfection in this new season. Growth continues even in beauty. Challenges do not disappear simply because the setting changes. But the nature of the challenges will shift. They will refine rather than break you. They will stretch rather than crush you. God allows these moments not to test your worth, but to deepen your wisdom. Each obstacle will carry instruction. Each delay will carry insight. Nothing here is wasted. You may notice that your voice carries more weight now, not because you speak louder, but because you speak from experience. God has taken you through depths so that your words would have substance where you are going. Authenticity will matter more than charisma. Truth will matter more than presentation. And God will use your lived obedience as testimony, even when you are not trying to prove anything at all. There will be a settling that happens, a deep inner confirmation that does not depend on constant reassurance. This is when you will know you have arrived where God intended you to be. Not because everything is perfect, but because your spirit is no longer restless. Peace will become your companion, not as an emotion that comes and goes, but as a steady awareness that you are aligned with God's will. This peace will guard you when uncertainty arises and ground you when success comes. Guard your humility in this place. Expansion can tempt pride if gratitude is forgotten. Remember where God met you. Remember the seasons when clarity was absent and strength felt scarce. Let remembrance keep you grounded. Gratitude keeps the heart teachable, and the teachable heart remains usable. God continues to lead those who remain open, not those who believe they have arrived. You will also learn the discipline of patience in a new way. Not the patience of waiting to escape, but the patience of building well. God is not in a hurry to rush you past lessons that will sustain you long term. Take your time to establish roots, strengthen foundations, let depth develop before visibility. What grows slowly often lasts longer. God values endurance over immediacy. As you grow into this new chapter, you will feel a stronger sense of responsibility, not as burden, but as stewardship. What God places in your hands now carries influence. Influence demands integrity. Integrity demands consistency. God trusts you with more because you have proven faithful with less. This is not entitlement, it is accountability. Walk carefully, not fearfully. Reverence keeps power from becoming misused. You will find that your prayers change. They will become less about escape and more about alignment. Less about asking for signs and more about asking for wisdom. Less about control and more about surrender. This is maturity. God shapes prayer as God shapes purpose. Let your communication with God remain honest, reverent, and open. This connection will sustain you when external affirmation fades. There may be moments when the beauty of where you are surprises you, not because it is dramatic, but because it feels right. You will realize that beauty does not always demand attention. Sometimes it simply supports life. You will breathe easier, think clearer, move with intention. This is the quiet evidence of divine placement. God's guidance often reveals itself through stability rather than spectacle. Do not be afraid to let go of agency. You do not need to prove that this move was justified. You do not need to validate God's decision to anyone. Fruit will speak in time. Let growth be your evidence. Let peace be your witness. God is not anxious about outcomes, and you do not need to be either. Trust unfolds best when pressure is released. When uncertainty arises, as it inevitably will, return to what you know. God led you here. God prepared you for this. God remains present. These truths do not change with circumstance. Anchor yourself in them. Faith is not the denial of difficulty. It is the refusal to let difficulty redefine truth. You are not walking alone in this season. Even when the path feels quiet, God often speaks most clearly in stillness. Learn to listen without rushing. Discernment grows in silence. Wisdom deepens when noise fades. Protect moments of stillness. They will sharpen your direction. One day you will look back and realize that the suddenness of this move was mercy. Had you known every detail beforehand, fear might have stopped you. God led you forward gently, revealing just enough to keep you moving. This is divine kindness. God shields you from unnecessary weight while strengthening you for necessary responsibility. Let your heart remain soft as you grow stronger. Strength without compassion hardens the spirit. God's power is never separated from wisdom. Hold both. Lead with humility. Move with clarity. Stand with conviction. This balance will keep you grounded even as you rise. You are moving somewhere beautiful, not because the place itself is perfect, but because God's presence orders it. And where God orders, life flourishes. Continue forward with reverence, courage, and trust. The journey is not finished, but you are exactly where you need to be. Remain attentive, remain faithful, remain willing. God is still guiding, still shaping, still unfolding purpose beyond what you can currently imagine. And the beauty ahead is not fading. It is unfolding step by step as you walk in alignment with the one who leads you. As this unfolding continues, you will begin to recognize a deeper invitation hidden within the movement itself. God is not only changing your surroundings, God is teaching you how to remain anchored regardless of where you stand. Stability is no longer coming from location, routine, or predictability. It is coming from relationship. This is a higher way of living. When God becomes your anchor, movement no longer threatens you. Change no longer unsettles you. You learn how to carry peace with you instead of searching for it outside yourself. There will be moments when silence surrounds you more than noise ever did. Fewer voices, fewer opinions, less interference. At first, this quiet may feel unfamiliar, even lonely. But this is not abandonment, it is focus. God often reduces noise when clarity is required. You are being trained to hear direction without distraction, to sense alignment without constant confirmation. In this quiet, discernment matures, wisdom deepens, and your dependence shifts from external reassurance to inner conviction. You will notice that your tolerance for compromise diminishes. Things you once accepted will no longer sit well with your spirit. This is not judgment, it is discernment awakening. God is refining your values to match the weight of where you are going. Integrity will become non-negotiable. Honesty will become essential. You will choose truth even when it costs you convenience, because your spirit now recognizes the long-term cost of misalignment. As responsibility increases, God will also deepen your capacity for restraint. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every opportunity needs to be pursued. Wisdom is learning when to move and when to remain still. God is teaching you timing, how to wait without fear and act without hesitation. This balance cannot be rushed. It is learned through trust, through mistakes redeemed, through patience practiced. You may be surprised by how God protects you in this season, not by removing every challenge, but by limiting their reach. What once would have shaken you now only informs you. What once would have derailed you now refines you. This is growth. Your roots are deeper now. You are no longer swayed by every shift of circumstance. God has strengthened your inner framework so that external pressure no longer dictates your direction. There will be moments of increase, new doors, new influence, new capacity. Receive them with humility. Increase is not proof of superiority. It is evidence of stewardship. God entrusts more to those who understand responsibility, not entitlement. Stay mindful. Stay grateful. Let gratitude keep your heart soft and your perspective. I have clear pride disconnects, gratitude aligns. You may also encounter moments when progress feels slower than expected. Do not interpret this as regression. God sometimes slows the pace to protect the foundation. Depth matters more than speed. Longevity matters more than appearance. What God is building through you is meant to endure pressure, not collapse under it. Allow the process to complete its work. Rushing would only weaken what God intends to strengthen. As your awareness grows, you will sense a stronger call toward intentional living. No more drifting, no more reacting. You will choose with purpose, speak with clarity, act with direction. God is aligning your inner compass so that you are no longer pulled by impulse or fear. This clarity is not rigidity, it is freedom. When you know who you are and where you are going, distraction loses its power. There will be days when you feel the weight of leadership, even if no one names it. Leadership is not always a position. Sometimes it is influence carried quietly. God places weight on those God trusts. This weight is not meant to crush you. It is meant to ground you. Lean into God when the responsibility feels heavy. Strength flows where surrender remains. You will also learn how to rest differently. Not escape, not avoidance, but rest rooted in trust. True rest is not inactivity. It is confidence that God is at work even when you are still. This kind of rest restores clarity and renews strength. Guarded, arrested spear. It hears God more clearly than an exhausted one. As you continue forward, remember this: beauty is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of meaning where God has brought you. Your actions matter. Your words matter. Your faithfulness matters. You are not passing through randomly. You are positioned intentionally. Let this awareness shape how you show up each day. You will not always feel certain, but you will feel guided. You will not always feel strong, but you will feel sustained. God does not promise constant comfort, but God provides consistent presence. This presence will steady you when emotions fluctuate and circumstances shift.